what's up, my friends? Thanks for stopping in at Ask a Guitar Pro. This is Jake. Want to talk to you about the next mode in line. If you remember from last installment, we talked about an introduction to the modes and the names of the modes, and we didn't go over them too much, but the mode we're going to talk about today is the Dorian mode, which is created off of the second note, typically of the natural scale. So if you remember from last time, we were playing in the key of C. First note C, second note is D, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Not necessarily everything in the key of C, but we're going to talk about starting a mode on the second note, which is the Dorian mode, okay? So let's talk a little bit about the intervals here. In the natural scale, the Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do, the diatonic scale, all the same thing. You start off on the 1, and there's a certain number of increments from note to note, okay? When you move from the first note to the second note, you have a full step or 2 frets. Second to third, you have 2 frets, another full step. When you move from the third note to the fourth note in the scale, it's a half step. 4 to 5, 5 to 6, and 6 to 7 are all full steps, and then you have 1 half step from the 7th note back to the tonic, or the first note, okay? When you're talking about Dorian scale, you're starting on number 2, so everything is moved forward in the equation, if you will. So instead of going, when you play Dorian, you go, okay, so that interval, obviously you could let your ears hear it, but when you move from 1 to 2, you have a full step. 2 to 3 is a half step. 3 to 4, 4 to 5, and 5 to 6 are full steps, or 2 frets. 6 to 7 is a half step, and then 7 to 1 is a full step. Okay, so let's just play the D Dorian mode right now. One thing I want to clarify on, let's say, the D Dorian mode, for example. The D Dorian mode does not necessarily, well, it does not fall in the key of D major or D minor. It falls in the key of C major, okay? So that's an important distinction, because you can still play the D Dorian mode over a number of different keys of music, because it's going to share a lot of the same notes. But if you just looked at strict music theory, you would find that the D Dorian mode belongs to the key of C, or the notes in the key of C. Okay, makes sense? So what we're going to do that's a little different here is we're going to build a song around or a song, I should just say riff, and we're going to play the D Dorian mode over the top of it, and the riff is going to be a minor riff. In music in general terms, songs tend to gravitate towards a minor or major feel, I guess you could say. So in this case, instead of playing C major, we're gonna move up to a D minor, but we're going to play the D Dorian mode, which actually belongs to the key of C. So we're going to play D minor, okay? And you'll hear what the difference is a little bit here. So playing D minor. Okay, so again, to review, D Dorian typically belongs to the key of C, but what I did there is I played it against, I was playing in the key of D minor, and then I added in the Dorian mode, the D Dorian mode. So, hopefully your ears can kind of tell what's going on there. Just a quick review of the modes that we didn't talk about last time. The modes themselves are sometimes labeled major or minor modes. Remember, starting on the Ionian that we talked about last week, Ionian is a major mode, okay? Then you have Dorian, which is typically considered a minor mode. Phrygian is considered a minor mode. Then you have Lydian and Mixolydian, which are considered major modes. Then you have Aeolian, which is another minor mode. And then you have the 7th mode, Locrian, which is, I guess that's probably considered a diminished mode when all is said and done. But so a lot of times you can play those modes over minor types of chords, for example, like I was doing there. I was playing a D Dorian over in the key of D minor over a D minor chord. Now actually, if you were to play the true notes that are in the key of D minor, it would sound something like this. Now hear it if I play D Dorian. So you hear the slight difference there. One more time. Regular D minor chord, which is also called, by the way, the Aeolian mode, which is typically known as the relative minor of the key you're normally playing in. So, okay, one more time, just a regular minor, which is the Aeolian mode. D Dorian, here how it has a different flavor. So that's the difference right there when you flat that C. So you can see we've sprinkled on that one little note out of key. If we're playing in the key of D minor there, sprinkling that little B there is really what brings that together. And it adds that different flavor. So one last time. Back to the regular minor. D Dorian. That gives you a little background of the Dorian mode there and how it can be incorporated in other keys of music to add interesting flavor, you know, a different note to just give it a different feel. But again, it does not technically fall in the key of D minor. It falls into the key of C major and its grouping of notes there and everything. But when you start taking that and playing it over different chord progressions that are a little bit out of key, adds a lot of unique flavors to the sound, and hope you like that little demonstration there. So I'm Jake, Ask a Guitar Pro. Check out more gear reviews and videos online at www.askaguitarpro.com. We'll catch everyone next time. Take care.